Okay, so I'm here today live speaking with Jens Dressler, the founder of GraphApi. Hi, Jens. Thanks for speaking with me today. Would you like to tell us a bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, Peter. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Jens Dressler. I'm the founder of GraphApi, which is a local platform which enables small teams to compete with unicorns. So how do we do this? It's basically a local backend/database that allows teams to build apps faster. And it has a spreadsheet-like user interface, as you know, from potentially Airtable, which makes it easy to collaborate also with business people.
Okay, great stuff. And what kind of structure do you have for your team? Are you a solo founder or you have a co-founders?
I have a solo founder. I have a partner from a previous startup, which I'm working with pretty closely because I'm more the tech guy, and that's the first time that I'm starting to be the CEO in a startup journey. Normally before I was the CTO always. So he's working like a mentor and helping me to really kind of understand doing the right things on the business side as well. And then we have a small team, a developer, business, outreach, marketing, and sales, and do a little bit like SEO and content as well.
Okay, great. And you've been bootstrapping the product and business so far. So can you tell us a bit about your experiences with that and what you've learned and what it's been like for you?
Yeah, initially it was all about making sure that we keep the runway. So at the very beginning, when we were still working on the product, developing the product, didn't have any customers, any revenues. So basically, I try to basically get the revenues from other sources. So what I did is on the side, I did consulting gigs because I worked as a CTO for a long time, have 20+ years of software development experience. And so there's a lot of startups that I could help with setting up the right structure for a product development team. And that's what I was doing on the side. And then basically the rest of the time and weekends, you work on the product. And so the biggest thing is to try to really be as efficient as possible and really focus on the things that really create value. So really kind of look at everything like, okay, is this valuable at this point in time? And only have like these 3 things that are most important, and everything else you just ignore.
Okay, right. That sounds great. And you've also been finding some customers and working with customers at an early stage in your business. So how has that been going, and what have been your learnings and outcomes working with your first early adopters?
Yeah, we really try to be super customer focused. Maybe we stole this from Amazon or something, but I think it really works because at the beginning, you need to understand what are the problems that your customers have, and you really try to help them. And maybe your product at the stage that it is in doesn't yet solve these issues. So if you really work closely with them, you can basically, one thing, understand what really bugs them. And at the same time, you can feed these learnings into your product development. And that's why we try to really make regular sessions with customers. We make outreach. We do really Zoom meetings sometimes where they just work with the product and tell us what issues they have at the moment. We also kind of see how to integrate this into their standard workflows, and only try to always ask, okay, what are the things that currently don't work for you? And that's it's sort of like an informal but very regular process that we try to run there.
Yeah. And have you learned much about your sales process as well with these customers?
Yeah, I mean, sales process is still something that we're trying to let's say, improve to a point where we really understand where is the perfect, the ideal customer profile for us. We started working with CTOs because, I'm sort of the developer CTO myself, so it was pretty natural to me to talk to these people. But over time, we figured out that potentially they're not the best ideal first customer or initial customers for us. So while I was really happy, because we talk the same language, I understand their problems because I've been there as well. And so that was pretty easy for us. But at the same time, the CTOs have a tendency, especially when they have bigger teams, they have the tendencies to say like, you know what, I want to have more control. I want to keep control about everything. And I remember me being this type of CTO in the beginning as well. Later, I really try to kind of make everything about speed. So from a sales point of view, we figured for us, a lot of times the business people are the ones who really have bigger issues. So they're the ones who get roadmapped all the time. They're the ones who have feature requests which don't get built because packed backlogs and whatever, the next 3 months is already full with development. The development team is full. So we figured like, okay, actually they have a bigger issue, a bigger need. And so we shifted a little bit our focus to them. It's like business/low-code developers, citizen developers, people who really want to do something internally in their companies or organizations, but can't because the development team basically blocks them away.
Yeah, I see. So you've prioritized certain types of customers, and is that shaping the direction of your product?
It does 100%, because we built this product really with sort of our experience and background. So that even like the terminology that we're using, the user interface, wordings and everything, is completely tailored towards like what we understand and what we thought makes sense. Now, we did so many onboarding tests with non-developers, and basically repeatedly it showed like they didn't understand what this means, right? It's like simple things which kind of sound totally obvious to us. They're like, I have no idea what this means, or what do I need to do now? And we were like, wow, this is crazy. Like, isn't that super clear? But for them, it wasn't clear. So for us, what we tried is to really change the wording, change the positioning, make it super simple so that, and intuitive, so that people don't really have to think and first of all, look up documentation pages or anything to figure out what these things mean. So it's really kind of shaping the product development quite a lot. But at the end of the day, the good thing is the end result makes the product, it's much more simple to use. So simplicity for us has been a key driver.
Yeah.
Because of that experience, you know.
So it's getting simpler because you're learning from your customers and what they need to understand and get the most out of the product, and it's helping you to understand how to simplify it best.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, especially they ask really nice and good questions. A lot of times they say something like, okay, but why do I have to set this now? I don't understand. Why is that important? And then you're just thinking like, you're right, actually, it's not important at this point in time. We could either kind of make a sensible default decision what to do, because that really doesn't matter to most people or most customers. And only if you really have a need to do it, then it still is possible in the settings somewhere, but it's not really kind of at the forefront of setting up, for example, a low-code backend stack. And that's something which really shaped the product in a big way, and it made it a lot better and a lot easier to use.
Okay, I see. That's good. So you mentioned a little bit about you being, you knowing this problem and your experiences that led towards you building the product. So can you tell us a bit about how that informed the problem you were solving and what kind of product you created?
Yeah, great question, because I actually went through this multiple times. Either myself, being a founder, I co-founded my first company in 2012, a company called Vamos. We did like an event discovery platform. And I was like the sole developer initially, and then later we grew the team a little bit, but we started basically from scratch, building the whole backend, the cloud infrastructure, everything from scratch. Then we had, this company got acquired by another company, and they had an external development team. So we kind of insourced everything, created a new development team. I became the CTO, we built up a team, and then we did this again. We really started from scratch again. Then after that, I did some consulting for startups, same story, we always start from scratch. And I was thinking, you know what, this is really kind of a waste of time. We're just doing the same thing, all this bootstrapping. It's basically a lot of undifferentiated tasks. It doesn't really help the business. These things need to be done for sure, but I think we can automate them. And that's how the idea with GraphApi came. And so we basically did this or built this in a way that the whole cloud backend infrastructure is automated. And you just define, have an interface, let's say, on top of it, which make it easy for everyone to you know, just build it from a model first, or like a data model perspective or business logic perspective.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, because then you built that from your own experiences, and then when you take that to customers, you're learning what they need and their use cases and how to simplify and adapt it for their purposes. Another thing that you mentioned is having a small bootstrapped team, that you've been working with a lot of automation and systems to make things easier or faster and more efficient. Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about how you've been benefiting from that as a small team to enable you to do more?
Yeah, first, what we try to do is everything we build for our customers, we try to use ourselves, and we try to automate this. When it comes to any piece of cloud infrastructure, any piece of testing, CI/CD, publishing or deployment, everything is automated. So normally the approach that we take is automate first. So when there is something that we can build, for our customers, we anyway have to automate it. So now how we do it, we have to automate it ourselves. Then we test it on our own platform. So basically GraphApi.com as a platform is built on the same principles and the same stack and the same automation infrastructure that our customer stacks are built on. And that's, first of all, helps us to kind of find or figure out the pain first. I mean, if there's any issues, we would kind of feel it ourselves and make sure that we just then roll it out to our customers as well. That's number one, but also we try to do this from things which are not product related or development or tech related, even when it's something like outreach, outreach to users, to potential customers, lead generation, etc. So we try to really automate everything we can, because that, it simply allows us to do more.
Yeah, that's great. So you're working as a really effective small team. You've bootstrapped, built a product that you know solves a problem that you've had, and you're adapting it and working closely with early customers to refine that product as well. That sounds really great, Jens, everything you've been doing. Can you tell us how people can check out the product and learn a little bit more about what it does and how they can use it?
Yeah, first of all, you can always hook me up on LinkedIn, for example, and I can give you a demo as well, no problem. Apart from that, you can just go to graphapi.com and check the documentation, but also just go to my.graphapi.com, which is linked. Normally, there's a get started button on the website, and you can just sign up. It's a free account that you can create, and then the first step is normally just create a project, create your data model with it's a no-code schema builder basically, and then you can publish the API. At the moment, everything comes with a 2 weeks free trial, so you can always try. And if you feel like it doesn't really help, then first of all, get in touch with us and make sure that you address what is missing. And if you feel it works for you, then obviously also we are there to help you with everything, with the setup initially, but also while you go, if you kind of have new ideas and stuff that you need. We built this in a very extensible way. So you can do this as complete self-service, but you can also get to us and we help you to make it easy to start. Okay, that's great. So connect with Jens Dressler on LinkedIn and also check out graphapi.com to check out the product. Hey, Jens, it's been great speaking with you today. Thanks for sharing a lot about your journey and the product and the business that you're building with us. Thanks, Peter, for having me. It was amazing, and thanks for all your work. It's really insightful. So I'm following it with a great interest. Oh, great. Glad to hear it. Thanks, Jens. Thank you.